Aaron Rodgers spoke for the first time since the end of the season. He had some interesting comments on his future. And Mike McCarthy, interesting. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Let's go, baby. Boy Green Daily starts right friggin' now. I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your bleeping podcast. And, boy, we've got a lot to get into here on the program. Let's start it off with some gifts from the high heavens. MFC, baby, mother effing chew, toot, toot, mother... Gifting a membership right off the top rope. You love to friggin' see it. MFC gifted that membership to 25, all written out. 25. You were just gifted a membership from MFC. He has 7 gifted memberships, which means 7 raffle tickets for our big contest here already off the top rope for this month. Again, we'll be drawing that at the end of the month, so get it in. We got another 2 weeks left in our contest, and look at this. Our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby, says, oh, I've got something for you. Woo-wee, baby. Okay. Number one Austrian Jet fan says, hold this. Let's go. Let's read those 10 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby. J-Dubs. Astral is off the chain. Daniel DeJesus. Jersey Jets. A-Rog Spidey. Green _ team. Getting some love here on the show. You're J-Boy. Oh, good to see you, pal. A.D. Pugnut. Morning Woody. All are members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, and we must update the banner immediately for our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby, who just gifted 10. He has 93 gifted memberships so far this month, baby, and here's our current top 5 on the leaderboard. Number one Austrian Jet fan, number 1, 93 gifted memberships. Jimmy Jets, number 2 at 77. J-Boy at 65 at number 3. DNY for life, number 4 at 38. And for Lillian Big D with 18 gifted memberships. And real quick before we get this party started, what the hell are you guys competing for? Well, it's this wonderful prize, baby. Throw it up on the screen. It is our Boy Green raffle giveaway spectacular. With a Nike Atmosphere Aaron Rodgers jersey, we'll be talking about him today, heather gray color, a $50 Boy Green merch shop gift card, and a custom laser engraving Jets Boy Green extravaganza that includes cool laser engraved Jets items and Boy Green items together. A nice mix, mash, bash. License plate, pens, coins, and so much more, baby. It's absolutely terrific. Again, that will be at random. Obviously, the more raffle tickets you have, the better your shot is of winning this, and we'll be doing it live on the show. I'll spin a wheel, and we'll input all the numbers. Obviously, like I said, the more raffle tickets you have, the better your shot is, but if you have at least one, you got a chance, baby. So let's get right into it. Again, a salute to our number one Austrian Jet fan and MFC, baby, for getting the good times rolling. And folks, Aaron Rodgers spoke for the first time since the season was over. And he gave a very compelling answer. It was this.
It could be last year, but it could not be.
There you go. Could be last year, could not be. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for Boy Green Daily. I'm just kidding. That was actually Enigma at the end of the Aaron Rodgers documentary. One more time. Aaron Rodgers says.
It could be last year, but it could not be.
It could be the last year, or it could not be. Compelling. I know a lot of you guys hate Aaron Rodgers or love Aaron Rodgers, but we can all agree he's friggin' compelling. He's entertaining. He's interesting. He's the most interesting man in the world, as far as I'm concerned. There's just a lot of things about him that move the needle. And, but basically, that actually, like I said, was the ending scene from his Netflix 3-part documentary, Enigma, where he gave that very compelling quote where he looks into the camera and says, it could be the last year, but it could not be. We have a full article on the YouTube description down below. Aaron Rodgers talking about his future. But, I mean, he said what we already knew. I mean, Pat McAfee grilled him, asked him a couple of questions saying, hey, man, have you thought about your future? And he says, not really. And one of the interesting things he said is, he's going to really start thinking about it once the season's over. It doesn't mean the Jets season means like the Super Bowl's over, everyone's 0-0, and he starts really thinking about it. But he said what's the truth, people. Aaron Rodgers' future will be decided by the next head coach and general manager of the New York Jets. And that was the quote. Quote, I think everybody understands it's going to come down to the GM, coach, and myself, whether we all want to do a dance together or if it's not in the cards. And it's quite as simple as that. Again, the Jets have interviewed or requested, when you combine the HC and the GM interviews, 33 people from pillar to post for this position. The Jets GM interviews, first round are complete. They're working on the finalists. So once you start seeing those second round interviews come in, that's going to give you a telltale of the final 4, 5, 6 people they will be speaking with for the position that are serious contenders for the GM title. And then obviously there's the head coach interviews that are still to come. They still have a few more virtual ones to bang out. I believe they got Jeff Hafley and Brian Flores today, if I remember correctly. So they have those two today, both virtual. And in theory, what the Jets would love to do is hire a GM somewhere over this weekend at the latest Monday and have that GM, whoever that person is, take part in the in-person interviews with all of the head coach finalists for next week. That's the plan for the New York Jets. We'll see if and when that comes together. And then those two individuals, their first big decision, similar. We've had other GMs that have had similar big decisions to make in different ways. Obviously, remember when John Idzik got hired? Great times. He had to decide on the future of Darrelle Revis. He ultimately traded him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got a first-round draft choice that ended up becoming Sheldon Richardson, your defensive rookie of the year, and a bunch of other assets. And he had to decide whether to pay the man again or trade him. And they decided to trade him. This time, it's do you keep Aaron Rodgers or do you not keep Aaron Rodgers? And I'll tell you this. Here's another nugget. It's also in the article. And we talk about it here about Aaron Rodgers, talk about his future. Another potential landing spot has been eliminated for Aaron Rodgers. One of my favorite shows I watch all the time is the Rich Eisen show. Now, I did not get to see the interview in full depth, but I got to see this specific answer. Jerry Dulac, who covers the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Post-Gazette, Rich Eisen asked him, hey, what's your guess? Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers next year? And he said Justin Fields is my guess, but it's January. And then Rich said, well, if you had to guess someone outside the building, who would it be? Rich Eisen asked Jerry Dulac. And Jerry goes, well, I know it won't be Aaron Rodgers. That's what he said. Here's the direct quote. Again, this is in our story down below. Quote, I can tell you it won't be Aaron Rodgers. They have no interest in doing that. End quote. Dulac said very bluntly to Rich Eisen about the Pittsburgh Steelers having zero interest. And when you start like the Steelers in theory made sense, right? No Russell Wilson, no Justin Fields are both free agents to be. Like that kind of makes sense. People brought up New Orleans if the Saints move on from Derek Carr and maybe Mike McCarthy ends up there. You get a reunion there. We'll get into Mike McCarthy. I got a lot of thoughts on Mike McCarthy. We'll get into that in a little bit. But as time passes, day by day by day, Aaron Rodgers' landing spots are just disappearing or blowing up or disappearing and being wiped off the face of the earth. Folks, I think it's much what it was before, that if Aaron Rodgers wants to play football in 2025, hello, New York Jets. Now, the Jets also would have to want Aaron Rodgers, of course. Yeah, man, spots keep getting eliminated for Aaron Rodgers to potentially be a part of, which is, like I said, sort of interesting. Those spots are disappearing. Poof, 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 left and right. And he has said, for whatever it's worth, that if it was up to him, his first choice is the Jets. And again, we will see. It's hard to pontificate on whether or not he's coming back because we don't know who the head coach and GM is. And when you know that name, maybe it'll give you some indication. But that will be, if it's not decided before that initial press conference, of that question's going to be asked. What is the decision on Aaron Rodgers? Is he coming back? Is he not coming back? What have you? Yo Home says, so you're telling me there's a chance? I am that Aaron Rodgers is back. No doubt about it, there's a chance that he's back. Good morning, everybody that's in here. My pop says he's a goof. Okay, well, I find him compelling, but J-Boy said, I didn't hate him until that pick six by a DT. Yeah, Leonard Williams, the former Jets first-round draft choice, Leonard Williams. That is correct. Yeah. I mean, the thing that got, I can't compare because I'm not an NFL athlete, so obviously let me kind of start that off the top. But when Aaron kept getting got by sort of the same thing, he had these, the Jets would be an empty, which means he's in shotgun all by himself, five wide receivers, and people would show an all-out blitz. You'd have your four rushers and then two mugging the A-gap. Like, we're fucking screaming at you is what they're saying pre-snap. And Aaron goes like, can, woof, 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 can. And he's like, oh, shit, I better have a hot route ready to go because if they come screaming, I got to be able to dump this off real quick like. And it was the Minnesota game in London where you had Andrew Van Ginkel who was mugging the A-gap, and so Aaron hikes the ball and he immediately just gushes back into zone and boop, picks him off, and that was a pick six. And then you have the Leonard Williams one, same sort of thing. When you have these empty looks, you would think Aaron has these quick outs and then plays happen. I don't think the Buffalo one, the Devontae deflected interception, I don't remember that being an empty set. That looked like RPO. I think Brees was like to his left. But sort of like he had those problems all year, which is kind of crazy for him to be as veteran-y as he is as a four-time NFL MVP. That got me a little bit. And there you go. I was kind of curious when that was. So Pop says tomorrow, Boy Green Daily on a Saturday. All right, let me put that in my notes here. For all our Boy Green Daily listeners, there you go. Hop on Pop Saturday. Beautiful. Great. He'll be joining us tomorrow. And I believe interesting timing by my father, Robert Saleh, is interviewing in person for the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job tomorrow. Good boy. Can't wait to hear that thought from my father on that. My pop once again chimes in. Aaron is like the last girl standing against the wall to dance. Just because he's the only one there doesn't mean you need to dance with him. Oof. 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 We'll see. We'll see. J-Boy says 31 teams don't want Rodgers, so why do Jet fans want him? I don't know if 31 teams don't want him yet. We will see. We'll see. Dave Brigger says Dulac is not that informative. Steelers don't leak much. Jerry Dulac's been covering that team for a long time. I really enjoyed Jerry Dulac. He's had some good sourcing on a variety of topics. But if you don't believe him, then maybe Mike Tomlin's really available then, because he said that Mike Tomlin trade isn't going to happen based on people he's spoken with. Yeah, number one Austrian Jet fan, good note here. Aaron Whitecotton is interviewing, and a lot of members of the Jet staff are set to interview. Looks like Marquand Manuel is going to be interviewing with the Giants for a position on their staff. Aaron Whitecotton is talking to the Green Bay Packers for their D-line coach job. Wonder who gave a cough for that interview. But in all seriousness, Aaron Whitecotton's awesome, so I'm rooting for him. But the staff is going to get picked apart. And I'm sure some Jet fans won't be crying about that because, well, the staff wasn't great. But there was a few individuals that were pretty gosh darn good. But so putting Aaron aside, so number one, Aaron said, it's going to be up to the GM and head coach. And then basically...
It could be last year, but it could not be.
Could be last year, it could not be. That's basically what he said, and well, the GM and head coach will decide that. But he gave another interesting comment. Aaron Rodgers was asked about his old buddy, Big Mike McCarthy. Speaking of Cowboys, my father, Mike McCarthy is a free agent coach to speak with who he pleases. He's talking to Chicago, the Chicago Bears. He's talking to the New Orleans Saints. But the New York Jets, he's not talking with. We'll get into that part in a second. But here was Aaron Rodgers in the Pat McAfee show yesterday talking about Big Mike and Mike McCarthy.
You mentioned Big Mike. He's available, isn't he?
Yeah.
Big Mike's going to be out there somewhere. And if they're
Hell of a ball coach. what he did this year with the amount of injuries that they had, I thought was amazing. Hearing the guys talk about him, I wasn't surprised just because anybody that plays for Mike and gets to know him a little bit and get to feel that great big heart that he's got. It's special. So
he is. We'll get into Mike McCarthy in a second. I just saw this comment from Philly Noodles 631, member of the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby, which we appreciate. Got a couple hundred people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Aaron Rodgers, could only have three viable options: Jets, Raiders, or Titans. This is Philly Noodles speaking. Maybe even wherever Mike McCarthy lands, which again could be New Orleans potentially if they move on from Derek Carr. Now, a couple of things with these three spots he said. So put the Jets aside. We're the Jets. We know what that is. Tennessee is the number one pick, so there's a chance Aaron ain't going there. So let's put that one aside. And Las Vegas, they're all hot and hungry for potentially trading up in this class from everything we're hearing. So that one could be eliminated too. So the spots are, again, disappearing quite quickly. But here's the thing on Mike McCarthy. So Aaron Rodgers is a big fan of Mike McCarthy. Breaking news, right? Breaking news. But he is right. Why would he didn't say all this? This is me now talking. If you're the Jets, why don't you speak to Mike McCarthy? You're talking to 30 billion people anyway. Why not Mike McCarthy? And it's been confirmed. Zach Rushbot, The Athletic, said, I don't expect the Jets to pursue Mike McCarthy. And here is this nugget from ESPN's Rich Cimini on Don Hahn and Rosenberg, talking about Mike McCarthy would be interested in talking to the Jets, but the Jets not interested in talking to Mike McCarthy? Huh?
So there'd be no interest in Mike McCarthy who became available today.
That's interesting, Don. I've done some reporting on this, and I think McCarthy would be interested in talking to the Jets. I think the idea of reuniting with Rodgers would intrigue him. I do not believe the Jets have the same interest. They interviewed him in 2019. That was the year the Adam Gase cycle. We know how that ended up. They should have hired McCarthy then. I don't think they came away blown away by his interview, and so they hired Gase, and 2 years later they were looking for another coach. So I think McCarthy is a good coach. He's obviously hasn't won it all since 2010 with Rodgers, but he wins. He'll get you double-digit wins, and he does have a good relationship with Rodgers, despite what some people think. I know Rodgers has a lot of respect for him. We're putting the cart before the horse there. I don't even know if Rodgers will be back, but the bottom line is I do not think the Jets would be pursuing Mike McCarthy.
And that is bizarre. That is bizarre. Now, I'm not saying you have to hire Mike McCarthy, which, by the way, we just put up a poll on YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we appreciate it wherever you're watching. We stream live on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page. Shout out to Heavy, my company that employs me. I appreciate that. Twitter at BoyGreen25 and YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. And I put up a poll on YouTube, and it is quite simply this. Would you be a fan of Mike McCarthy being the next Jets HC? Yes or no? And the polls are going back and forth. It's very compelling. Well, because I'm not going to ask you, should the Jets talk to him? Because, obviously they should talk to him. What do you have to lose by talking to him? Of course you should talk to him. So that'd be an obvious poll. But would you want him as the HC? Interesting. He's an offensive guy. Yeah. He's been an NFL head coach before. Yeah. For 18 years. Yeah. 13 years in Green Bay, 5 more years in Dallas. In Dallas, he had 3 straight 12-win seasons, sandwiched in the middle of his Cowboys tenure. The most wins the Jets have ever had in a single season is 12, and it happened once, and that was back in 1998. So I don't think we should be so quick to poo-poo Mike McCarthy for any Jet fans that may be doing that in the comment streets, so to speak. He's had great success with quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, yeah, that guy's been pretty good. Dak Prescott, yeah, that guy's been pretty good, statistically speaking. Even when guys have been forced to step in, like Cooper Rush, hasn't looked too shabby. Matt Flynn, oh, okay. So he's an offensive guy that cranks out points. He's had offenses in the past that have scored 30-plus points per game. Oh, okay. Jets don't have offenses that do that. That sounds pretty good. A QB whisperer of sorts. Why everyone is just kind of overlooking Mike McCarthy. People hate on Mike McCarthy all the time. Did you know, for the Mike Tomlin people, I know we got a lot of Mike Tomlin people in our audience. Mike Tomlin, career of the playoffs, 8-11, 3 games under 500. Do you know what Mike McCarthy is? 11-11. He's got 3 more wins than Mike McCarthy does. Or 3 more wins than Mike Tomlin does, excuse me. I'm getting confused with all the Mikes. Mike McCarthy, better playoff record than Mike Tomlin. But we're all caping for Tomlin. Ooh, we need to trade the 7th overall pick for Mike Tomlin. But Mike McCarthy is a straight-up free agent that you can just talk to? Yeah, no thanks. Huh? Who? What? Don't seem to make a lot of sense, Bob. Does not seem to make a lot of sense. But hey, different strokes, right? Different strokes. Again, they should have, of course, talked to him. It does not sound like they're going to, though, for whatever reason. So, interesting. Let's go through some of your comments, actually, as we're talking about this Mike McCarthy business. Dakota believes Ben Johnson to Jacksonville. The current hubbub is Ben Johnson to Las Vegas. That's the current whispers I've heard, but I guess we'll see. That'd be interesting. Dakota 50-50 on McCarthy to the Jets. Yeah, let's see what the poll is right now. It's currently 57% say yes. They would be a fan of Mike McCarthy being the next Jets head coach. Fascinating. But it's going back and forth. The votes are, again, live right now on youtube.com/BoydGreen25. So I love it. Yeah, keep it rolling, baby. It's a compelling conversation piece. I think he's a polarizing guy. Dave Briga, is Justin Fields a free agent? If so, I can't see the Steelers. Yeah, he is. He is. Russell Wilson is. It was just a guess by Jerry Dudline. And he said, don't hold me to it. But if he had to guess right now, who would be the starter? Justin Fields. That's kind of an interesting, because you saw a little taste of what Justin Fields was. That would be a starting job in theory for Justin. So that one sort of makes sense. I'm sure Justin will be looking sort of at that Sam Darnold thing, but he might get a little less money. But somewhere in that ballpark, a 1-year deal for $10 million, somewhere like Giants, Jets, something like that. I could see that for Fields. Jersey Jet. I was on a Niners live stream last night. Jersey Jet says a lot of the chat was calling for Aaron as a bridge if Purdy wants too much. That's just, then what? So, like, it makes sense for Aaron. Aaron loves the 49ers. He grew up in the Bay Area. That makes a lot of sense. But they have Purdy for next year at like $1 million. So even if he wants too much, then what? You're going to trade him? You're gonna, if he wants too much, you say, okay, ride out the 1 year that's left on your rookie contract for $1 million, and then we'll figure it out. So I don't think that's an immediate 2025 answer. Maybe 2026, but then, like, is Aaron again still playing then? We don't even know if he's playing this year. So, but interesting. Luca, a new member to the Boyd Green Coffee Club, says, we want Glenn. Damn straight we want Aaron Glenn. And I'm going to keep playing this clip because there's a lot of Jet fans out in the universe that say, Paul, but he's a defensive coach. Aaron Glenn answered that question this week.
As far as, typically, Bill Belichick is a shining example of a defensive coach who won Super Bowls, but typically it's offensive coordinators. They come from the offense who become Super Bowl head-winning coaches.
Yeah.
Why do you think that might be?
Well, I don't know if that's truly accurate. I can just go off the top of my head with Bill Carr, Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick. That's won a ton of Super Bowls as a defensive coach. And here's the one thing that I would say about myself. I'm a coach. I just happen to be on defense. I understand the offense just as well as a number of people. So if you're going to hire me, you're going to hire a coach. You're not going to hire a defensive coach. I'm going to talk to the offense just as much as I'm going to talk to the defense.
Hire this man, Jets. What are we waiting for? AG is the guy, baby. And the current buzz, according to ESPN's Rich Cimini in insider circles, is Aaron Glenn will be the next head coach of the New York Jets. Again, they have to first off, number one, they've got to finish off all their head coaching interviews. Again, they still have more to do before we even get to the finalist stage. That's number one. Number two, you got to hire a GM, which, again, it sounds like it's going to happen before the HC. We're going to get the finalists. Those should be coming up in a couple of days. We should start seeing second-round interviews happening here. But Aaron Glenn should be the bleeping guy. And I hope that answers a lot of the defense and what happened to defense. Shut up. Come on, man. Come Don't just hire a guy because he's offense. That is terrible process. Okay, you got two candidates here. One's a defensive guy, one's an offensive guy. You're like, well, I know what the resumes say, but offense. Let's go. That should not be a reason. If the offensive guy's the best candidate, then shit, come on down. Price is right. All right, we've got Johnny. Come on down. Oh, my God. I'm the next HC of the NYJ. This is great. Okay? If that happens, if he's the best candidate, then God bless whoever that offensive guy is. Come on down. But looking at the landscape right now, the offensive guy I would have been intrigued by, candidly, is Ben Johnson, but he has no interest in the Jets. Okay, no problem. I understand I've moved on. But with him aside, and again, Todd Monken, another guy I liked, he is not speaking with the Jets. Okay, I'm moving on. Okay, fine. Aaron Glenn is the guy. You can't get one of those top offensive guys that to me were really intriguing. Okay, no whatever off my back. All right, let's move on. Aaron Glenn, I'm very intrigued by, man. Very intrigued by. Reese says, nobody knows who will be our quarterback if Aaron is gone. I don't see wins if that happens. Again, it would depend. There's just so many factors that it depends. But we'll see. Yeah, McCarthy's had some really good teams. No doubt. He won a Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs a million times. He's won division titles. I mean, it's a compelling action he's got going on there. Lucas says, maybe we can offer Justin Fields something to distract her. Could see him as Jet. Again, if the Jets, Aaron Rodgers retires or they move on in some way, Justin Fields is totally on the table for the Jets. Absolutely, he's on the table for the Jets. That would not surprise me at all. Now, we'd see what he would do, but, I don't know about that. By the way, update on the poll, 56% of the fans said, yeah, they'd be a fan of Mike McCarthy being the next HC of the NYJ, and that would likely mean an Aaron Rodgers reunion. The relationship, but besides what some people may think, between Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, it's good. It's good. Mike McCarthy was on the Enigma documentary talking about all these great things about Aaron Rodgers. And apparently, he said on a separate radio interview in the Wisconsin area, Dallas area, I don't know where. It might have been a vacation thing. I don't know. But I saw that he's in, relatively speaking, constant communication. Not every day texting BFFs, but relatively constant communication of talking to him and keeping in touch. So there you go. Alan says, I still don't get why Ben Johnson, the Bears, haven't matched. Yeah, it doesn't sound like that one's going to happen. Again, these are all just rumors and windmills and everything that's happening there. But yeah, I'm trying to remember who's the. They're trying to talk to Marcus Freeman, still of Notre Dame. They want to wait till after the national championship game. I don't know, man. That Ben Johnson Bears thing seems less likely based on the latest intel. Philly Noodle says McCarthy didn't draft Dak. It isn't like he found him, but he's been able to get his best seasons out of him. That should count for something. Yeah, I don't know if you want to put that in the scouting feather cap, but Williams says maybe Johnson doesn't want McCarthy because he's a Rodgers guy. But why wouldn't you interview him, though? That's what I'm saying. You don't want to hire him, fine. You run the team. This is your toy shop. You can do whatever the hell you want. But not even interviewing him seems weird. But seems weird. Jared B. throws us up. Paul, what about Belichick having not signed with NC yet and talk of him coaching the Raiders? The latest, so I did see that yesterday. We talked about it a little bit on my radio show. Like, whoa, Bill Belichick hasn't officially signed his contract with North Carolina. Apparently, according to Ed Werder, the agreement, for lack of a better word, between Belichick and North Carolina is apparently binding, according to Ed Werder. So the not having signed thing doesn't mean anything. Again, he could still be bought out. It's a $10 million buyout, so a team could swoop in and do it, whether it's Vegas or whatever team. So it's still possible, but apparently the contract thing was much ado about nothing. But sure, go link up with Tom Brady. That's fine with me. That's one less spot for AG to go. Not that I think he's going to Vegas. Again, Brian Costello came out and said, if Aaron Glenn gets offered the job for HC of the NYJ, he's taking the job. And that does not surprise me. Again, a lot of the commentary of watch out for the Saints. Huh? What? Who? Huh? The Saints? Over the Jets? Nah, man. Heck no. I know Aaron Glenn played a year there at the end of his career. Had a couple years as a DB coach. Okay. He spent 8 of his 15 seasons with the New York Jets. He was a first-round pick of the New York Jets. He spent 2 years in scouting with the New York Jets. He is a Jet. Through his pumping blood, he's a New York Jet. Aaron Glenn. So I always thought if he was offered the job, Aaron Glenn's coming here. He is not picking any other spot over the Jets. That's what I felt in my plums. That's what I felt in my loins, and I continue to feel that way. And the reporting that comes out continues to just confirm those feelings that I've had. Alan says people here in Dallas are intrigued about Deion coming here. I think that was also Ed Warder who said if Deion's offered the job, he's going to become the next HC of Dallas, which would be exciting, man. He would be exciting. And I'm in media for my radio job. That's great content. So sure, Deion headed over to Dallas. That'd be fun. So I'm all about it for sure. Doesn't Deion have to coach his kid? If so, I guess Dak Prescott's on the block, right? And the Cowboys are at the trade up. They're all like 12. I don't know if that'll be in Shadur Sanders' range. So TBD on that one. Yeah, we need everything. We need new everything. I agree. Number one Austrian Jet fan. We need everything. And everyone's saying sign Glenn. Okay. A lot of AG fans here in the comment section. We appreciate that. Gase was an offensive coach. He was the only offensive coach that Woody Johnson ever hired, believe it or not. Woody Johnson's owned the team for 25 years. That's the only coach that has been offensive oriented. And how about this? Adam Gase, is also the only retread that Woody Johnson's ever hired, believe it or not. Also kind of crazy. Danny says Glenn feels like a Tyrod guy. I don't know. It's impossible to say. He's a Teddy Bridgewater guy. I don't know what that means. We'll see. FFL 98 or boy says, I want Glenn as well, but if some reason we don't get him, I wouldn't hate McCarthy. I wouldn't either. It doesn't sound like they're going to talk to him, which I think is a major mistake. At least pick his brain. What do you have to lose to talk to him? Yeah, Mike McCarthy Bears rumors. I've heard those. Hot and heavy. Let's go to Gator McCluskey here. Our boy Gator. Joe Brady should be considered over the other OCs. He could help Justin Fields tremendously. Also hurt Allen. # F the Bills. McCown is OC. See if Rex will accept DC to help Brady learn to be a head coach. I would say if we get a Joe Brady, which is intriguing. I'm not totally against it. I'm intrigued. It could be a disaster. It could be a wild success. So like I said, I'd be intrigued by that. He's an offensive guy. That certainly is cool. He's an intriguing guy. He knows the division, obviously, being in Buffalo land. A Justin Fields thing would be kind of fun. I'd be kind of curious what quarterback, if he got to hand pick it with who's available, who would he go after? And hurting the Bills is always great. I like a Josh McCown as OC. That's fun. And whether it's Rex Ryan or some other guy that's been an NFL head coach before, I hope if we get a young guppy that they have a good support staff. I think that's super important. But good thoughts, Gator. Again, Joe Brady's not been getting a lot of love. And Danny, that is a good point. The Saints are in a more winnable division than the AFC. So that would be true. But they're in cap hell, and the roster sort of is old and stinks. Outside of a couple of players that might be past their prime. Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara, potentially. Some of these guys getting up there and injured and hurt. Chris Olave's uncertain future with all the concussions. Yeah, that's how I feel about the Saints land. But that's a good point about the NFC South. That's got to be a factor. Yo, Holmes, Glenn told the Patriots to suck it, which only helps his cause. That only helps his cause. That's hilarious. I absolutely love that. Philly Noodle 631 says Albert Breer a month ago guessed Brian Gaine and Aaron Glenn makes sense. Both former Jets and scouts with the Jets. Yeah. Both former, to your point, both former players, both former scouts. Brian Gaine spent more time as a scout. I believe he was there for 5-6 years, 1999 through 2004. He's been in a bunch of different front office roles. He's been with the Dolphins. He's been with the Bills. So, again, he knows the AFC East. Both people have basically said that this would be a dream job to be with the Jets, so that part's really exciting. Brian Gaine has been in the GM chair before. He's very high on my list. I've been saying Brian Gaine since before we even knew he would be interviewed. That was a very high name on my list. I think we did a show about it a month and a half ago, something like that. Brian Gaine's always been high on my list, so that would be a terrific hire. Assistant GM currently at the Buffalo Bills. I like Brian Gaine a lot. I love his background. Yeah. Danny, as it stands today, the Jets are firmly the fourth-place team going in next year in the AFC East. Pats presumably have a better coach and quarterback. I don't know if I'd agree with that. The quarterback, obviously, you got to give Drake May the tip of the cap. That's exciting. Mike Vrabel's a really good coach, but we have no idea who the Jets head coach is yet. And the Patriots roster is god-awful. I mean, it's terrible. It may be the worst roster in football. So let's hold our horses here. Let's see. We'll see what they are. The proof will be in the pudding. Bills are obviously really good. Miami seems to be in a state of transition, shall we say. Tyreek Hill and company. But we'll see. I'm not so sure I agree with that, Danny. Danny on Twitter. The Patriots did interview Pep Hamilton. That is true. That did happen, apparently. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, Jared B. Is right. Sauce almost killed Bridgewater in that one game. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, that did happen. Yep. Mm-hmm. That is accurate. I think he's saying upside. I don't think he thinks Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I don't know if that's really true or not, but I would assume that's what he's talking about. They have a young, promising quarterback, but which is exciting for them, but we'll see what happens. He's a little reckless. He's been getting hurt a lot this year. Christopher Cancel, none of these candidates for both sides satisfy me. Detroit fans won't be happy if Glenn leaves. He's loved over there. On top of that, the Rolling Rule sucks. Ridiculous rule if you ask me, Boy Green. Yeah, it's been ineffective. Unfortunately, the heart was in the right place for getting minorities the opportunities to be in the room, because if you're in the room, that certainly in theory pushes you further, but obviously there's been a lot of skirting around said rules. All right, let's get another update on the poll real quick. Mike McCarthy, 53%. It's getting very tight. Would you be a fan of Mike McCarthy being the next Jets HC? Again, it's unlikely to even happen, to be honest, because it doesn't sound like he's going to interview with the Jets. They're wrapping up their head coaching interviews, and then they're going to move on to finalists. So it sounds like they won't be speaking with Mike McCarthy. They did in 2019, but they went with Adam Gase instead, and that worked out, didn't it? That's just real quick. I think I said this the other day, but I'll repeat it. I can't remember who said this. Maybe it was Rich Cimini. Yeah, I think it was Rich. It might have even been in that clip that we played. That in 2019, the Jets apparently weren't blown away by the interview of Mike McCarthy for head coach. But they hired Adam Gase. So apparently they were blown away by Adam Gase. And my question would be, maybe your ability to be blown away, maybe the radar's a bit off. Because if you were blown away by Adam Gase and it was terrible, and you weren't blown away by Mike McCarthy, maybe by virtue, by default, you should say, maybe we had the wrong temperature, and thus we should probably speak with Mike McCarthy. I don't know. That's just me. But, hey, different strokes, you know. But that's just, that would be my take, specifically, from that perspective. Interesting. Let me answer another question here, then we'll open up the phone lines. Christopher Cancel back on. Answer me this. If I'm loved in Detroit and have a potential chance to win a Super Bowl with the Lions, why would I want to leave them when I'm building a dynasty? Would you, BG? It's a great question. C squared, C times C. It's a good question. And AG has said it very bluntly that he's got a great job in Detroit. And, hey, man, if the interest wasn't there or vice versa, like the teams weren't interested in him or he didn't like the fit. Aaron Glenn said he has no problem staying with Detroit because things are great. They've got this great thing going. He's been a really good coach with great talent around him or not talent around him. But to answer your question is a question about each individual. Some people are totally fine being a coordinator forever. And if that were the case, AG is just dandy where he is, and he could be there as long as the Dan Campbell era continues to run strong. But some people have the desire for promotion, have the desire to reach a new level, and by all accounts, Aaron Glenn is that man. And we always talk about this on my radio show, about Mama calling home. You may say, Paul, what are you talking about? Sometimes coaches or players are in a certain spot. They were either drafted there, or they just ended up there, whatever happens. And they're very comfortable in that spot. And they almost say, maybe not to a person, but to themselves in their mind, I would only leave this place for one job. And I'm not saying that's what AG is saying here. But sort of, AG was a former first-round draft choice of the New York Jets in 1994. He spent the majority of his career with the Jets. He went back to the Jets after his playing career as a scout. He's got a lot of ties to the Jets organization. Put that in a bucket. He has a desire to be a head coach. Put that in a bucket. And you combine those two passions, and maybe the job that he leaves for, if it's open and realistic and whatever, is he's like, this is the perfect fit. I can leave this great situation in Detroit. Hopefully, again, no matter what, he can't leave Detroit until their season's over. So he will have a chance to go win a Super Bowl this year and then join the Jets for all their activities. So why would you leave a potential dynasty? And also, I think there's something to be said where you strike while the iron's hot. Detroit went to the NFC Championship game last year. If they win this weekend, they're going to another NFC Championship game. Okay. How much longer does it last? I would say probably a while, but you never know. Things can fall off. Things are hot right now. When is Aaron Glenn's stock ever going to be higher than it is right now in this very moment? And I think AG has probably said that to himself. Again, I'm sure he seems like a very confident guy from all I can see from the outside. So I think AG is like, hey, man, now's the time. The time is now. John Cena, my time is now. I think that's what AG's saying. And that's why. Because it all seems peaches and cream right now. Hey, it seemed peaches and cream for the 49ers, and they're out of the playoffs this year. So things happen. And I don't see people running to the 49ers to pick apart their staff for people. As a matter of fact, I see people from the 49ers looking for other jobs. So that's what I say. I say, on the potential of leaving and things of that nature, Christopher Cancel, C squared. I think Aaron Glenn is like, the time is now for me to maximize my value and get one of these jobs. There's only 32 head coaching jobs, and the jobs that may be open now may not be open in the future. And if he's a Jets guy, as he seems to be, how in God's green earth could he not strongly consider that in his thought process moving forward, Christopher Cancel? All right, let's go to a YouTube Super Chat. Again, we'll be opening up the phone lines here in just a moment. Every time I get a Super Chat member shout-out, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna.
Wow.
Very nice. Zariah Luna. Shout-out to her. Her birthday, by the way, is in 8 days. She turns 3. Shout-out to Zariah Luna, my beautiful daughter, Zozo. ZZ Top. Let's go to Jared B. here. Member for a year. Jared B., happy anniversary, baby. Who do you think will be the Jets' second interviews? Give me 4 GMs, 4 head coaches. All right, well, do I still have my top 5 here? Let's go. I think I have my top 5 HCs here on my list. Here we go. GMs, excuse me. So here's my top 5. So I think here are the 4. I'll go with this list. Mike Borgonzi, assistant GM of the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, I will adjust it, I guess, if any of these guys get hired, because Tennessee seems to be closing in on a guy, and then obviously Vegas will be looking too. Mike Borgonzi, Brian Gain, Thomas Dimitrioff, Alec Hallaby. Borgonzi of the Chiefs, assistant GM. Brian Gain, assistant GM of the Buffalo Bills. Thomas Dimitrioff has been out of the league, but he was a longtime GM for the Atlanta Falcons, 2008 to 2020. And Alec Hallaby, the assistant GM of the Philadelphia Eagles. He spent the last 18 years with the Eagles. So there's my 4 that I believe get a second wax at the pinata. And I don't have the HC list in front of me, but off the top of my head, I'd go Aaron Glenn. I think he gets another interview. Let me see if I can pull up the Jets head coaching tracker real quick. I could just read the list. Yeah, let's see. Okay, I got to hear from JetsXFactor.com. Thanks, Jets X Factor. All right, let's see some of the names. So Brian Flores. So I think it's Brian Flores, Minnesota Vikings DC. I think it's Aaron Glenn. I'll go Joe Brady and Matt Nagy. There you go. A couple of offensive guys, a couple of defensive guys. I believe those are the final four. Matt Nagy, Brian Flores, Joe Brady, and Aaron Glenn. There's 4 HCs, 4 GMs. There you go, Jared B. Good question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, beautiful. All right, let's do this, baby. Let's open up the phone lines. We'll play a quick Hep song. Up next, your phone calls. We'll talk Mike McCarthy, talk Aaron Rodgers, and God knows whatever else you guys want for the HCNYJ gig. Let's roll. More coming up here on Boy Green Daily.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking just football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets. Boy Green Daily. Boy Green.
There he is, Hep baby. Appreciate you. We got 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, spread the gospel of Boy Green Daily. And I'll give one more plug. Sean Lights Out Merriman joined us on the show yesterday, and man, that was awesome. That was a bucket list thing. When I was a kid, I used to be doing the Sean Lights Out Merriman dance in my living room. I love Sean, and it was great. He's followed me on social media for a while, but that was my first time to interview him, and what a fun interview. We're putting up a couple of clips, shorts, as they call them, in the YouTube universe. You guys can check those out in the YouTube video section. If you just want to catch a couple of clips, but I'd recommend watching the full shish kebab. Like a 20-minute interview, give or take. That's in our live section, Boy Green Meets Woody, every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock. That's in our live section. Also in the playlist of Boy Green Meets Woody, Sean Lights Out Merriman. Talked about Aaron Rodgers' retirement, some Antonio Cromartie stories, LaDainian Tomlinson stories. Those were fun, too. And he had a lot of takes. So shout out to Sean Lights Out Merriman, baby. Also, keep those memberships coming, baby. Every membership gives you a raffle ticket for our big grand prize raffle at the end of the month. One lucky winner will be winning that grand prize that includes a Nike Atmosphere Aaron Rodgers jersey, heather gray color. I'll throw it up here on the screen. $50 Boy Green Merch Shop gift card and a custom laser engraving package, guys. So every membership gives you a chance. It's $2.99 per. You can either buy a membership in the YouTube description down below, join the Boy Green Coffee Club here, click here, $2.99, punch your own ticket in, or you can gift memberships if you're watching on YouTube. Click the money sign, final option, gift channel memberships, gift as many as you like. There are no limits, no restrictions, and obviously the more raffle tickets you have, the better your chances. But if you don't buy a raffle ticket, the math elites in the background tell me you have 0 chance of winning. That's what I've heard. So guys, keep that in mind. Let's go to the phone lines, babe. We got a lot of people trying to call in. Let's go to Johnny Boy, Mr. Aviators here on the program. Good morning, sir.
BG, good morning, brother. How are you, man?
Hey, man, it's been a electric show so far. Yeah,
dude. So, the Mike McCarthy stuff. Why would we not want to interview him? And if there's a possibility, why would we not? And all that. Just trying to figure out any kind of like negativity that I could see on a reasoning not to bring him over here, where he's said in the past that he would not mind coaching for the Jets. And I think last time the big issue was that we were going to pick his staff for him or something like that. And that kind of soured him, if I'm not mistaken.
That was Matt Rule. I don't know if that was Mike McCarthy. I heard about that for Matt Rule on that one. That's why he was soured. But I guess it could have been for McCarthy. I don't remember that one, though.
An awesome interview yesterday with Sean. It was awesome. Like, I don't know who else has not watched it, but please watch it, because my favorite part of that whole interview was without you guys even asking, he brought up Aaron Glenn's name.
Yeah, that was cool.
He put him up, and it was like, if I'm the Jets, this is the guy that you bring over here because he will have everybody disciplined and is what the organization needs. I was like, man, if this dude is talking high about him, I mean, now, granted, I'm still Flores guy. I still do want Flores and all
Right.
that.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But the Aaron Glenn stuff, man, it just, more and more people that are coming out and speaking for him as well. Talks volumes, man. One of my favorite quotes that he says, Aaron Glenn says at least, he talks in regards to talking about bringing players to his ranch out in Texas and having them look at film together. And one of the players was like, dude, this is the first time I've ever had any head coach of any kind of capacity bring me over, sit down with me, and really look at film together and all that. Wow, your wife is cooking. That just speaks of the type of individual that he is. And he's like, well, why can't we do that? I'm with you guys 24/7. I should welcome you guys to my house and everything, right? That stuff means stuff, I believe, at least to a lot of other players, like what Curtis Martin and Bill Parcells and that freaking relationship that they had, right? I think Martin was like, dude, I love you to Parcells and the whole nine.
I'm pretty sure Parcells inducted Curtis into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, if I remember correctly. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It's interesting in regards to all that with Glenn, man. It's just, I know the pushback is it's his first time and all that, but I don't care about that, man. Why not? Like, OC, I keep talking about it, man. Mark Brunell, he has him there with him. I mean, Mark Brunell's worked as that QB coordinator or whatever, and look what he's done with he's learned under Ben Johnson, is what I'm trying to say as well. So there's something there to be talked about, and there's again, other players are coming out and speaking about that. Victor Green was like, dude, wouldn't you like to rejoin each other and all that? Jim Morton, somebody that we haven't talked about in how long?
Yeah, that's true.
Came out, said the same thing in regards to Aaron Glenn, that he wouldn't mind, joining them. So I don't know, man. I just want the GM to get picked first, bro, and then
sounds like it.
Go from there, man. So. But BG, I just wanted to come up here and talk about that. The McCarthy situation, it's why not? Like, I don't understand it. I mean, he's proven, he's won. He's an offensive-minded coach, where that's where a lot of people want. And then I think if Aaron is back, I think McCarthy would tell Aaron Rodgers, sit your old ass down with your bad hamstring right now, and let me go ahead and put Tyrod in so we can at least win 2 or 3 games and then put you back in, because it's more about the team, not just the name on back of the jersey itself. But hey, BG, I appreciate you, man. Keep killing it, brother. Just for a wide always.
Okay, I appreciate it. There he is, Johnny Boy, joining us again. Make sure you guys check out the YouTube channel, Jets Worldwide, wide, all one word, Jets Worldwide. All together. Hit them up. They are, again, during the season, they got the Jets match game, but out of season, they have the Jets Wheel of Misfortune, which is a fun game on Friday nights, which today's a Friday. I imagine we're getting some more Wheel of Misfortune. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We got a member shout out here from a boy, Badshaw, here on the program.
Wow.
Happy Friday, everyone. Go Jets. No Flores. Hashtag Gruden. I'm not sure if he's also saying no Flores and no Gruden. There's not a no in front of Gruden as well. Maybe he's advocating for Gruden. Chucky, I'm not sure. Badshaw, you could clarify in the comment section, I suppose. But member for 6 months. Appreciate you, Badshaw. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that, my friend. Happy Friday, everybody. I can't believe it's a Friday. Man, this is going by quick. But, yeah, Chucky would be a fun one, too, for sure. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We've got a cup of Philly noodles here on the
What's
program.
up, man?
What's up, pal?
Oh, nothing. That last take right there. Dear God, please not Chucky.
No Chucky?
I can't. Right. Yeah, because my thing is, if you don't want Flores, because let's say, he had his issues with NFL ownership, you're going to have the guy who has been on record with prejudiced comments. Are you kidding me? That's even worse. It's easy. No, just, you got to stop. That's like, I'd rather take Rex over Gruden.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I've heard other people say the other way, so it's been fun to see him both ways. Interesting.
Nah, I take it the other way. But a few takes. Mike McCarthy, I think the reason why it's a no is because then Aaron's a foregone conclusion to come back. It'll be like he's coming back. So I think
Woody, even for an interview, though, I think that's what people are saying. Like, I get it if they don't hire him, okay. You don't have to hire him if you don't want to. But not even talking to him. Why wouldn't you talk to him?
I think because the writing would be on the wall that then Aaron, there's a bigger chance that Aaron comes back. If you first off, the media would just even be spinning it that way, right? Like it don't even have to.
Maybe, I guess.
Probably, right? So I think it's just a safe play to not even bring him in for that matter.
Which, by the way, I just want to confirm, Badshaw, because he ran out of characters, I guess. He wants Chucky. He wants Gruden. So no Flores, but wants Chucky. So hey, that for me as a content creator, that would be exciting. I love Chucky. He's super passionate. He's a fun guy.
I want to stop the carnival. That is the Jets media.
Fair enough. Touche.
Us is different because we're fans. The non-fan media, that's the carnival, and they see us running in, trying to jump on the wagon as it's going. We're like, oh no, we're like losing, we're losing grip in the gravitron. You can lose grip in there real quick. So that's my take on that. QB situation, I didn't want to speak on until they get everything going. But now the more that I was like Team Flores because I wanted a guy with experience.
Yeah,
Glenn's a Jet, so I can't. Like, he wants to be here. It's kind of like, it's getting to me. It wasn't getting to me originally, but now it's getting to me. And then you're telling me Gain is, just reading back. I just read on Gain while, you've been talking. And I'm like, damn, this guy's experienced with the Jets. It's like, I might be on the Gain train. Let's get the Gain going.
Hey, there we go, baby. We got to get that train trending. Get the Gain train. Again, for people who don't know, look up Brian Gain and his history, man. Again, he's not Aaron Glenn. He wasn't a first-round pick of the Jets. It's been a million years there. He got a cup of coffee, but still sort of cool that his first NFL experience was with the Jets, and then that led him ultimately, while the playing career was not remarkable, he's not going to the Hall of Fame, but that was enough to impress Bill Parcells to bring him back as a scout later, which set off his entire career, man.
Correct. So it's like, whoa. That's a combination no one's been thinking about. So, I mean, you had that. Breer had that last month. Just looking at that, too, as a combination would be, I think, mightily strong if we're going to go and not take the Rexes out there, right? We got green blood in the building, tried and true. We got Aaron Glenn, he's a player's guy, but he's also stern. His first year around, but everyone's got to get a chance, right? And if you look at it, Brian Flores had a chance. And if it wasn't for the fact that Flores was even an option, I think Glenn would be the hottest pick right now. And he
probably. I think the fan base is a little split with Flores and Glenn. That's mostly what I've seen.
I mean, just as the carousel beside Ben.
No, I agree. Yeah, if he was just removed from the table, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Correct. And if you remove Glenn, then it probably would be Flores almost flat out, without the exception of the offensive coordinator coaches.
Correct.
So. Man, I think I'm on that Glenn train and Gain train, man. I think it's there. The double G's. Let's get the G's in the
I love it. And both guys that have basically said in their past that the Jet somehow starting their career, going all these other crazy ass places and coming back would be quote unquote dream jobs. They want it. Again, you don't hire someone because they want the job. I want to work for the Jets. They have not hired me yet. That's not enough, obviously. But it's a cool piece with the rest of the puzzle that there'd be this awesome homecoming story for both of them. So, yeah, man, I would love to see it.
And send Mike McCarthy off to wherever the heck he's going to go. Let him go to the Raiders and let him, if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, if they don't get Shador, let them go get Aaron. Let them go to the Raiders. Good luck.
Nice.
Have a blessed day.
That's beautiful. I
love you. At some point here in your the rest of your day here, can you give us a little chutzpah and give us that video of you breaking boards? I love it. It gets me.
Oh, that's true. We'll work that in. Philly noodles. I appreciate that. Good call, buddy. Yeah, cup of noodles. Yeah, we'll have to get that. Well, you're gonna get it today, even if I don't play it. I'm on with Jakey today around the 4:00 range. So guys, make sure you tune into that. MFC has re-signed with the New York Jets, the first important signing of the offseason. Yes. those memberships expire. That's another raffle ticket, by the way, MFC. That is 8 raffle tickets for this month's contest. So thank you kindly. But yeah, keep an eye on that, folks. YouTube memberships expire eventually, even if you're signed on as a member. So just keep an eye on that. And MFC is quickly re-signed. By the way, real quick, J-Boy here with a YouTube Super Chat member shout out. He's been a member for 2 months. We appreciate you, J-Boy. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Here's his combo. Let's hear the combo platter. He's rolling up to the Taco Bell menu. He's like, yeah, I'll take Aaron Glenn HC. I'll take Rex Ryan DC and a Mike McCarthy OC. Okay, that would be quite the dream team here. A couple of things here. I think Mike McCarthy's landing on his feet. I think he's getting an HC gig. I think it's Chicago or New Orleans. Nolans. I think he's getting one of those two. That's my gut. Rex, if he could check the ego at the door, come on in, DC. He knows defense. His father knew defense. Hell yeah. I'd be all for it. Now, whether or not he'd be willing to do it, I guess we'll see. He has interviewed for 2 DC jobs recently. That's the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos, respectively, over the last couple of years. So you never know. You never know. So good thought there. J-Boy, we'll see. If, again, the staff will be, in all seriousness, though, the staff will be super important for Aaron Glenn to see who he has coming in. That's for sure. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We got a lot of people waiting. We'll get over to everybody here. We got Badshaw here on the program. Welcome back to the show, brother.
What's up, man? I've been sick with the flu.
Oh, Jesus. I hope you're okay, man.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, good. Good Lord.
I kind of wanted to defend my comment.
Oh, please do.
About Gruden.
All right.
You know, Philly Noodle was saying, kind of, I guess, that if we brought in Gruden, that'd be the same. Like, if I'm hating on Flores, then why would I want Gruden? Basically, was the way
that's basically his take. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Gruden is also a Super Bowl winning coach, so there's
he is
fucking difference between Flores and John Gruden. I mean, Paul, me and you, we're the same age. I mean, do you remember when they won the Super Bowl and they just like
2002? Yeah, man, the Buccaneers, baby. That defense, Rondé Barber, John Lynch, Warren Sapp. I mean, hell yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, Rich Gannon. I mean, what they did to Rich Gannon in that Super Bowl. I mean, that's one of the big beatdowns I've seen. Like in a Super Bowl. That's one of the first Super Bowls I actually can really remember sitting down and watching. I just always felt like Gruden had a good cast of people with him. I always felt like whoever he was working with, if that was the offense, the defense, whatever. I just always felt like whatever cast of people, of coaches he had with him, he always got the best out of them. It's like he was a good TV, you could get him on TV, you could put him on camera, he could talk. He wasn't like Bill Belichick. He wasn't all, weird and mumbling. And then but also nobody wanted, none of the players are going to fuck with the guy either. You're going to get respect from your players. You can just tell when you watch a guy like that what he brings to the table. And I'm like, we need a change. I mean, we have not been to the playoffs since I was in high school. Since the year I graduated, we have not been to the fucking playoffs. We need something different. And I know we've been trying. We tried with Aaron Rodgers. We've tried with this. We've tried with that. I just feel like John Gruden could change things. And I'm not hating on Rex either. I wouldn't mind Rex. But I don't know. Flores, there's just a lot of shit going on that, he's a great coach, but I just don't know if we're the team that's ready to take that on. There are teams that I think Flores would be perfect fit for. I'm not hating on Flores. I just don't think the Jets is that team, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. And again, I agree. The Cup of Philly Noodles comp with Chucky to Brian Flores. Brian Flores, a guy who's been a head coach for 3 years. John Gruden's been a head coach forever, multiple stints, Super Bowl winner. And I think the most important piece to the puzzle is Chucky and his players have an awesome relationship. We hear all kinds of players pounding the table and vouching for John Gruden, even current players today when he's been around the Saints, people just drooling over him, people in the past talking about those relationships. Brian Flores has this shitty relationship player, so much so that he almost sent Tua to a psychiatrist, for God's sake. So I think that should be mentioned in the grand scheme of things too, Badshaw.
Yes, I agree. And I'm going to get off here. I know you got a lot of other callers and whatnot. But, hey, I do respect Philly Noodles' comments. So I wasn't getting on here like trying to start anything or nothing. I just wanted to defend what I posted on there.
We heard you, Badshaw. With all due respect, fuck you, Philly Noodles. Wonderful. With all due respect, of course. With all due respect. I love it, Badshaw. And hope you feel better, buddy. And thanks for calling back in. With all due respect, fuck you, cup of noodles. Fuck you, buddy. A cup of fuck you with extra fuck you sauce. Hold the fuck you. And then put it back on. There you go, pal. Suck on that, Badshaw says. I respect it. I respect the take. By the way, let's go to a YouTube super chat. Then we'll jump back over to the phone line for Lillian Big D, baby, with a $19.99 super chat. Oh, yeah, baby. That'll do just nicely.
Wow.
By the way, those are we've updated the banner here. That is now 25 gifted membership translates in terms of finances. So for Lillian Big D, all of your memberships based on your other super chats as well. You now have 25 gifted memberships, still in 5th place there in our raffle super giveaway contest here. A buddy of mine said Arthur Smith could be a leader for the Jets HC. Let me just do a quick detour of whoa! Disgusting. Eddie, here, let me read more. Please tell me that's not correct or I'm jumping off my balcony head first. Glenn, please. Good Lord. Yeah, so I've heard a bunch of BS. Dan Graziano predicted that Arthur Smith would be the guy. Rich Cimini months ago said Arthur Smith was a quote-unquote dark horse to be involved as a guy. The Jets just completed a virtual interview with him yesterday. Arthur Smith has been a head coach before. That checks off some magical box for the New York Jets. He's an offensive guy. That checks off some magical box for the Jets. But look at the resume, people. Don't just say, oh, he's been a head coach before, check. Oh, he's an offensive guy, check. Okay, we got to hire this guy. I hope the Jets do not do that. Because if you look at what happened with Arthur Smith, how about this? There was inconsistency with Arthur Smith. He had multiple 3-game losing streaks during his tenure with the Falcons. I think he never won more than 2 games in a row. I'm pretty sure I read that stat somewhere when I looked up Arthur Smith getting fired by the Falcons. The only consistent thing Arthur Smith did was finish 7-10. All 3 years in Atlanta, 7-10, 7-10, 7-10. That is the definition of mediocrity. Purgatory is what he had. And he never found a quarterback. Matt Ryan, Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota, Taylor Heineke? Huh? Heineke? Like, man. So this offensive wizard found creative ways to marginalize his players. Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. I mean, all of these talented guys. Drake London. Those offenses should have exploded, but instead, those offenses sucked. So we want an offensive guy who sucks? I don't know about that. And credit to what he's done in Pittsburgh. I want zero part of Arthur Smith. So let's just hope he's not a finalist for Lillian Big D, to go back to your overall point here, a leader of some sort. I have not heard any of those chatter. He's been a leader. But, of course, you have to – he was interviewed, and he was a very hot candidate in 2019. It was between him and Adam Gase. It went super deep. So the Jets did like him before. That is true. They interviewed him that cycle, and they've interviewed him this cycle. That is true. The Jets were going to hire Arthur Smith this offseason as some sort of a senior offensive consultant. They were supposed to overlook the offense and basically call it without being called the offense coordinator. That is all true. Those are all factual statements. But again, I have not heard any of this of him being some leading candidate of some sort. Let's just hope he's not a finalist, and then by virtue, he will be eliminated. But if he's a finalist, that's going to give me the heebie-jeebies. He'd be one of those coaches that would be incredibly uninspiring. It'd be Adam Gase level uninspiring if the Jets hired Arthur Smith. That would be incredibly uninspiring. But thank you for the super chat for Lil and Big D. Let's go back to the phone lines, baby. We got our boy, June the GM, here on the program. Good morning, June.
Good morning. Listen, first I have to start off by saying, great job on the interview. I was able to catch a couple minutes yesterday. I snuck in, I need a quick water break. Snuck off, put it on. Good job,
I love
man.
it.
I really enjoyed
Thank
it. I've been noticing a weird pattern, right? Boomer and Gio. Right? I want to watch my words, I respect them. I like what they do. But the dude, Gio's been getting on my nerve. Every day, for some odd reason, he's bringing up the subject that Aaron Glenn will be overwhelmed in New York. And then Boomer is co-signing. And I'm saying in my head, what are they talking about? Boomer yesterday says, the thing with Aaron Glenn, he has to understand what he's walking into. I mean, I know he was a former Jet, but it's different. And I'm saying, it sounds like they're sabotaging this dude. And they keep on screaming Flores. My thing with Flores is this. Please, Jet fans, I hear you. We want Flores. He's a tough guy. First of all, Flores did nothing in the league. He had some decent years in Miami. He went through 3 offensive coordinators.
In 3 years, yeah.
Typically, coaches can't go through 2 before they get fired, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
You mean to tell me what's going to happen if he comes down here and the offense ain't clicking with the pressure of this media? Is he going to go through one offensive coordinator, another offensive coordinator? I don't like the guy. I think he has a fake persona of this, this astute, angry guy who's on the side like a Bill Cowher. He don't give me that aura. And in fact, correct me if I'm wrong, the 2 biggest games of the year for Minnesota, his defenses were exposed as suspect.
I mean, it's true. Week 18 Detroit in the Rams game, yeah.
Now, what did Detroit do? Undermanned Detroit defense with no superstars on that roster. What did they do to Minnesota and the offensive genius coach down there? Right? What did they do? Have Sam Darnold looking, come on. I mean, come on. I'm at the point like this. Paul, if our Jets don't hire Aaron Glenn, this is going to bring me the most disappointed. Forget Gase. This is going to disappoint me like the way I felt when we lost in the AFC Championship to the Colts, when we had them, and right before halftime, Manning drives up the field. I can't do. We need Aaron Glenn. Did you hear him talking yesterday?
I did. And that's the other part about it, of why it would be so disappointing, is Aaron Glenn has made it as public as he possibly can, that he wants the Jets job, and if he got offered, he'd be on a jet, pun intended, I guess, immediately to take the job. So if they didn't give it to him, that would be devastating.
I'm a little conflicted. I almost want Detroit to lose before we do something stupid.
That's a good point, because obviously, for those who don't know the rules, if as long as Aaron Glenn and the Lions stay alive, the Jets cannot hire him. There can be a wink behind the scenes, but even then, we all know how that can go. So until they're eliminated, you can't hire him. Yeah,
I have a feeling Detroit is going to end the fantasy land Wonder World season of the Commanders. I have a feeling that Detroit is going to punish them dudes 45-10, something crazy. It's not going to be a close game. Wow. I'm telling you, I'm that high on Detroit, but that's my fear. Detroit goes out there, destroys this guy, and then the Jets still not even got to drag it out. And then Flores interviews today.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he interviews virtually today. Yep.
Virtually, that's a good sign. He's not coming in the building. I hope you have Wi-Fi issues today. I'm going to be calling my connections to see if they can cause some glitches, man. That's right.
All right, please do. June, I appreciate the call, brother. And by the way, everyone else does too. Look at these comments coming in of all these people saying they enjoy June's call. Shout out to MFC. Saying I like June's calls in here. Alan giving him a shout out for his passion. Again, he's a caller that sort of come out of nowhere for me, and I love him. I hope he calls into the show all the time. June is an absolutely wonderful caller, absolutely in our top 5 callers of all time, baby. He's terrific and gives great takes. I love it. So hopefully, Wi-Fi issues for Brian Flores. I would just say, though, the only reason it's not in person, I mean, I guess technically it could be in person because they're eliminated, but next week is when you're going to see a lot of the in-person head coaching interviews for teams that have been eliminated. Again, the rules are very convoluted, so I can understand how anyone has confusion with them. But yeah, so we should be seeing some in-person interviews coming up next week for the New York Jets. Again, as they pare down their head coach finalists, they've got a few more virtual interviews to get through this week before we get there. Jeff Hafley, the Green Bay Packers defense coordinator, is the other one that will be interviewing today. Well, thanks to the nearly 500 people in the room right now. Like the video, hit subscribe, check it out, baby. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling into the show today and supporting the show. I'll be back on with Jakey in a little bit. A long bit, I guess. That'll be coming up in the 4 o'clock range. So we'll see you guys then on a Friday night. I'm heading over to the radio station. If you guys would like to tune into that, that's the Score1260.com, baby. We'll see you guys then. Take